Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
Last Sunday, we had Scott Davis here, and I invited him to come back because we had more things that we wanted to tell you about Christmas for our troops. Christmas for our troops needs you in a lot of ways, and this is a very short time frame that was just kicked off a few days ago, and this is the 10th year, yes. And the sole purpose is to collect things and buy things for a big box that goes to individual troop members overseas. And Scott and his core team have been working on this for 10 years, and it just keeps evolving and growing until it's now a very refined process. And last year they sent almost 2,600 boxes to individual troop members in foreign countries. And this is just a tiny way that West Texas is showing how much we appreciate the things that are being done by troops all over America that are serving overseas. So anybody that you know that's in service overseas, all you have to do is go online and fill out the little form of the full address and send it in, and they will get this very nice box with about postage and everything about $150-ish in value to each of our troop members. And one of the things that we talked about what's in the box last week and the history of how this whole thing got started, but I want us to start our program out today by your telling about some of the letters that you have gotten back from the troops that have received it. And you said that you've put together these notebooks with the letters in them, and you're not big and tough enough not to start crying when you read it.
I envision myself as being a big tough hunter from West Texas and the oil patch and all that sort of stuff. But when you get these letters back from these troops, the impact that has upon people is so great, because these guys and gals take the time out of what is not a good experience. They're in a combat zone, either they were in Iraq, but now Afghanistan. And that's where the boxes go, to Afghanistan. And they take the time from protecting themselves and their buddies to send a thank you note. And it's not expected by us, but it's
powerful.
Hugely appreciated and extremely powerful. And there's so many of them, and there's one in particular that I remember. I went to the post office one day, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, and I opened the drawer and I looked in there, and there's a piece of cardboard lying in the bottom of my box, and I thought, what in the world is that? And it says chicken and dumplings, and it's got a menu, if you will, of what all's in there, ingredients. And I picked it up and I turned it over, and the edges were rough, and drawn on the back of it was a line down the middle of the piece of cardboard.
Like a postcard.
Like a postcard. on the right-hand side was our address and a stamped free mail, because the troops get to send their mail home for free. And then on the left-hand side was a nice thank you note for the box this young Marine had received. Well, Marines are supposed to improvise. And I guess he took the new pocket knife that we sent him and took the top off of his rations box and wrote a very nice note and sent it back to us. And there was one letter from a young man who'd come in from a mission in Iraq, and sitting on his cot when he got back was this box. And he'd gotten in so late that night, it was way after dark, that there was no hot meal for him. So he got into the box and ate goodies out of the box and cleaned his weapon with the weapons cleaning stuff that's in there. And there's just all kinds of nice stories from such a wide variety of people.
And one of the things you include in here is a toy.
A toy of some nature,
and
a small toy.
For a lot of reasons, but and they can use it for any way they want to. It can kind of be a good luck charm, or it can be something they give to the little children in those villages to cement some friendships.
Right.
But sometimes they send it home to their own children or bring it back to their own children. But you got a note from one of the soldiers that said that they had a brand new baby. He had just had a brand new baby at home, and that this was going to be...
That toy was going back.
Yeah, and so you just don't know how these things touch because they touch different people in different ways.
Yeah, I think they do. Everybody, there's something in there, I hope, that everybody can enjoy, and it affects people differently. And I don't think we understand, I know I don't understand the impact that this has. Our life is so easy, and their lives are not. And they're a long way from mom and dad or husbands and wives and children and grandchildren, and it's very little what we do, but when you read the letters, you know that we've made a difference.
Yeah. And you don't just send to enlisted men, you send to officers and to anybody that you get a name and address for.
That's right. Now,
and that's why it's so critical for people to
We have to have
send.
those addresses. Now, I was in the airport in Atlanta one time some years ago, and I had in my pocket some telephone calling cards, long distance calling cards. And we used to put those in the boxes. And there was a colonel and 2 sergeants sitting at a table, and I walked over there, and I had seen some guys in the airport, and I just had 2 cards left. So I gave them to the 2 sergeants. And I said, Colonel, you don't need these guys do. So yeah, there is some differentiation, if you will. If we have a list and we're running out of boxes, the officers get cut. And that's not what we want to do, but they have more amenities than the enlisted men and women do. And so that's just a practical reality. If we have to make a cut, and those officers understand, they've said, if you have to cut somebody, cut us off the list. You keep the enlisted men and women on there. And I'm saying men and women because we do send boxes specifically to the girls. There are things in those boxes that the guys don't get. So if you've got a daughter or a mother or a niece that's over there, don't hesitate to send us her name and her APO, so we'll take care of her.
And just be sure to designate that it is a female if the name could be taken either way.
Yeah, if it's Jean, we need to know it's Jean a guy or Jean a girl, and there are some names that we've seen, and we say, oh, is that a guy or a gal? So be sure and tell us if it's male or female, if there's some potential difficulty in our discerning that.
And the important thing about those names is when they get a box on their bunk and it's addressed to them, I can just imagine the joy that comes into their hearts in a dismal land, in a dismal situation.
In these letters, you'll get, how did you get our name? And sometimes you'll get emails, and the email will say, it's an email thank you letter. How'd you get our names? Well, Santa Claus's secret. We don't give our secrets out.
We'll be back in just a minute. We've got to take a break now. See you in just a second.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.